Hi, thank you for joining me in another episode of Chad Sports Talk, where we dive into the world of sports. My name is Chad, and thank you for clicking on this video and your continued viewership of my channel. Your views are greatly appreciated. If you could, please hit that like button, subscribe for even more content from me, and let's begin our journey over the review this past weekend of both college and the NFL. Now, if you look at the key games from Saturday, we had a lot of classic rivalries that just hit my nostalgic button very, very, very hard. You had Nebraska and Oklahoma facing off like back in the old Big 8 days. Purdue and Notre Dame used to be annual matchups for a very, very long time. And an old Big East matchup between West Virginia and Virginia Tech. These games were very entertaining. It came down to the wire for most of these. Oklahoma, not very impressive, but held on to beat Nebraska 23-16. Notre Dame was steady. Didn't really explode on offense. Their defense came through in key moments of the game, and they were able to win 27-13. And Virginia Tech just could not come back against West Virginia and fell in their Black Diamond Series 27-21. Then you look at the SEC refs in two games on Saturday that really kind of botched some calls, especially the Mississippi State-Memphis game, where Mississippi State was punting. Memphis had two players with number 4 on their jerseys, which is illegal, which should have been called a penalty. Was not caught. And then the ball got kicked. Mississippi State pretty much looked like they touched it. The back judge there is looking to blow the whistle dead. For some reason, no one echoed his call. Memphis picked it up and ran it back with the second number 4 guy. So that play should have been either blown dead or definitely a flag thrown on that one. So that one, kind of may have cost Mississippi State the game because Memphis held on to win 31-29. And up in Happy Valley, where Penn State hosted Auburn in a very good game between the two good programs, SEC kind of forgot it was third down and Penn State ended up punting when they shouldn't have. It didn't really affect Penn State's outcome. They ended up winning 20-20. So the SEC got a little refs got a little bit beat up, but they're humans. They will make mistakes, but I think some of them are kind of obvious that they shouldn't have. And if you look at the Pac-12, the woes continue for this conference. Once again, they had 3 games that just their marquee programs just fell flat. Utah fell once again to a former Mount West member in triple overtime fashion to San Diego State, 33-31. BYU went at it again, knocked off another Pac-12 member, another former member of the old WAC days, and beating Arizona State, 27-17. Fresno State went down to the Rose Bowl and took it to the Bruins, 40-37. And then lonely, the Wildcats of Arizona fell to FCS Big Sky member and former Borderland member Northern Arizona, 21-19. All right, and to wrap up the college aspect, the game of the week, in my opinion, was Alabama-Florida. Initially, it looked like Alabama was going to rout the Gators in the swamp because they had the 21-3 lead after the first quarter. Was not the case. Florida came back with a vengeance, but just fell just short, and Alabama escaped the swamp with a 31-29 victory. But these two match up again. I think you might see Florida might be able to take it from the Tide. So definitely one matchup you might want to keep your eyes on for a possible rematch SEC title game. Now off to NFL. Unfortunately, this was a day of injuries. A lot of prominent players got injured. Some of them affected the outcome of the game. in Chicago, where Andy Dalton running out of bounds tweaked his knee. That brought in Justin Fields, much to happiness to me to see Justin Fields actually getting some prominent playing time. I do not want to see Andy Dalton get injured, though. Let's get that straight. You don't want to see another player get injured. Hopefully it's nothing serious for Andy Dalton, and he bodes well. Justin Fields struggled a little bit. Did throw a pick, but he did show his athleticism, and he had a few throws that were either should have been caught or just slightly out of the reach of the receiver, depending on whose side you want to take. You could have had 2 touchdowns easily. But it's definitely a learning experience, and Justin Fields shows that why he's going to be a prominent member of that Bears team for a long time to come. And it says he is meant to be there. At Indianapolis, the Colts were doing pretty well with Carson Wentz. Unfortunately, he kind of got his ankle rolled up and looked really nasty. He tried to tough it out, but the pain was too much. Eason went in and pretty much sealed the fate for the Colts as the Rams came back to win 27-24. And Tua, unfortunately, he ended up going out. He maybe thought it was broken ribs. Pretty much, X-rays were negative at the time, so you still have to get MRI at the time of this video being posted. I don't know the results of that, but definitely has bruised ribs. And the Bills just routed the Dolphins 35-0. Tyrod Taylor was doing quite well in Cleveland, taking it to the Browns actually, who actually lost Travis Landry, so they lost a key receiver. And he went out for a hamstring, and the Browns were able to battle back. Even Baker Mayfield went out for a bit. Looked like probably a stinger because he tried to tackle someone after he threw an interception. But he came back as I'll lead the charge and get the Browns a victory, 31-21. The Raiders went into Steel City and took it to the Steelers. Part of the fact that T.J. Watt injured his groin, so the defense was lacking one of their sharp teeth. But Carr was just throwing bombs out there, and the Raiders went to Pittsburgh, like the old 70s matchups between the Oakland Raiders and Pittsburgh Steelers, and then winning 26-17. A very hard-fought game. 49ers running back core. I mean, that's another running back core that's kind of, missing some key pieces. Ended up losing 3 and barely held on to beat the Eagles 17-11. Jalen Hurts was trying to, help his team out, and it's fell a little short, but, there's, Philadelphia's on the upside, and San Francisco better watch out because the other teams in that division are gunning for him. And the Saints, the poor Saints, did not look like the same team that demolished Green Bay out there in Charlotte. Note the fact that Dew had some injuries on that team, and as well as a lot of personnel, both players and coaches, missing due to protocols. And James Winston actually looked like the James Winston of old when he was playing for Tampa Bay. He was just not himself at all. And Sam Darnold he was living up to the hype that he had come out of college, and he just led the Panthers to the Saints 26-7. I mean, it was just a good showing for Carolina. McCaffrey's back with them as well. And Sam Darnold may have said, it's not me, it was the system I was in prior. And then you look at some costly penalties, especially in Thursday night football with the Giants in Washington, and when a defensive lineman who was next to the ball jumps offsides on a final kick that missed, but because he can't watch the ball, jumps offsides, gives them another shot, and then it kicked the game-winning field goal. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this is just the story of the G-Men, but that's something they need to clean up. Dallas and the Chargers. Between them, they had 20 calls. I mean, that's just, they might as well just paint the field yellow instead of green. Now, how many calls that went there? And the Cowboys held their own, ended up winning on the game-winning field goal, even though it was a little game clock mismanagement, I think. But they still ended up winning 2017. And Seattle had 10 penalties for 100 yards. You cannot give any offense that many yards and expect to win a game. And the Titans, behind the reemergence of King Henry and dominated the Seahawks at second half, went into overtime. It knocked off the Seahawks in Seattle 33-30. And in case you didn't mention, I think the game of the week was, of course, Sunday Night Football between the Chiefs and Ravens. Mahomes versus Lamar. Two outstanding athletic quarterbacks that can beat you with your arm and their feet. And for the most part, Mahomes and the Chiefs pretty much had a steady lead against the Ravens. But Lamar took the team on his back once again. Ran for over 100 yards. And also had a touchdown with 2 touchdowns, plus he threw 1, so he came out for 3 touchdowns for the Ravens. And then Mahomes still had over 340 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. But Lamar was able to get that monkey off his back, finally beat the Chiefs, on his 4th attempt. And this could be another key matchup coming up in the playoffs, and you might see these two go at it once again. But these games for Lamar, where he's the leading rusher, I do hope the Ravens find another running back to kind of carry the load, because it's a 17-game season. Lamar can't do this for 17 games and try to take this team to the playoffs. He's going to break. So I'm hoping they're able to get the running backs back and get some quality backfield help for him, so that way he can limit his time and exposure from getting hit. Because you take enough hits, he's not gonna last very long. And I want to see Lamar kind of prove me wrong. So I didn't think he'll be a quarterback in this league, and he's definitely shown that. He's won an MVP. The only thing he's missing now is that ring. So, definitely some surprises that showed up over the weekend. Some upsets in college football. Definitely, this was a very injury-filled Sunday, unfortunately. It's a 17-game season, so you got to be mindful of that going forward. So you may see teams taking more losses than normal because of injuries, just to protect players, I think. Right now, a few teams are kind of surprising me. The Raiders right now are showing me they can cover their bets at the table. And they're 2-0. I didn't see that coming from them. Denver's another one. Looks like it could be another challenge for the Chiefs' crown. So the AFC West, it looks like it's going to be tougher division for the Chiefs to claim again. And so it's going to be interesting to kind of see how things plan out. Tonight's going to be, or Monday Night Football, so that's a big play yet between the Packers and Lions. And I told you before, Aaron Rodgers won't have the same mistake again he had with the Panthers. And he loves playing against the Lions anyways. So he's definitely going to ensure that he has a very memorable experience. Well, that's the time I have for you today. Thanks for clicking on the video. Listen to me cover the weekends. Like I said, I still have my college football poll coming out. Like I said, it's kind of a point-based system. So right now the numbers are a little skewed. That should be coming out same time the college football polls come out. So be mindful of that one. I'll probably do like a mid-season review for NFL, kind of review how the teams are going compared to my initial review. So kind of see how I'm faring. I'll tell you right now, probably about 50-50. So I definitely know I can't prognosticator. Big words scare me. So be mindful for that one. And I'll see you really soon on Chad Sports Talk. Make sure you hit that like Like button for me. Subscribe. Share if you wish. You can follow me on Twitter at Chat Sports Talk. And I'll see you next time.